Hello, welcome to Once the Force of Stars podcast. My name is Phill, of course. I'm joined, as usual, by Dave and George for our Mandalorian breakdown. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
I was going to say good evening, but no, we're here in afternoon, aren't we? Strange time.
We really are here in afternoon.
Yeah, it's not our usual late night show, or again, our usually early morning show. We've got a trailers breakdown. It's like, no, it's a nice afternoon one for once. Of course, we usually do this on Saturday. However, with schedules from the last few days, we're doing it today. And of course, we've got predictions video later on as well. But we're going to look at the latest episode of The Mandalorian. Guys, initial thoughts before we break down the episode and go into it.
Initial thoughts on the episode or leading into the episode?
Both.
All I wanted was plot. A little bit of plot. Just, something where we know where it's heading. But alas, I was wrong. There's my intro.
I would have liked it to move on to the plot, but the filler episode that we got, I loved. So that's fine.
Yeah. Again, for me, I wanted plot. At this point in the time, I was really expecting heavy plot because, well, it's 3 episodes to go at this particular juncture before we get into the episode. And yeah, so that we'll get into the plot or lack thereof as we go along. But yeah, so thoughts of the episode in general then?
It was an episode of 2 halves. It felt like 2 episodes in one. It felt like it could have, like Clone Wars, you have like a mini arc, wouldn't you? It felt like one of them, like 2 20-minute slots.
Yeah.
Certainly the second half, I really enjoyed. The first half, not so much. And these are characters we'd seen in the did you guys see all the celebration footage?
Yes. Yeah.
All the characters we were introduced to were in the very first snippet of footage from Celebration. So it was kind of nice to, get to see them in action, I guess you can say. But it fell flat for me the first half, but I liked what they did in the second half of it.
I just flat out loved it, start to finish. I really, really enjoyed this episode.
Now, you see, I started off in one place and I ended up in another, as the guys will testify too. So the first time I watched the episode, I was in a bit of a rush, wasn't in the right headspace, so I was getting ready. And I didn't really like it. I didn't really care much for it. Some of the characters irritated me, some of it took me out of it, and by the end of it, I was just annoyed there was no plot. I rewatched it this morning. I said to the guys, I'm going to get a fresh watch, fresh eyes, and I enjoyed it a lot more the second time around. There's still bits that annoy me, and I really feel the lack of plot. With 2 episodes to go, I really feel this needed plot of some sort. However, as George and I were discussing before we came on air, if it had been put earlier in the season, I think I would have absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound harsh. Like if you take it by itself, it's a single individual episode. It's fine. I think my issue, and this is me, it's the first 3 episodes were bosh. There's a story, and then now we're 3 episodes down the line, and it feels that we haven't moved an inch. Now there's been character development, which I will speak about later on, which we got at the end of this episode. But in my own head, I'm not struggling to watch it because I still really enjoy watching it and stuff. But this is the last 3 weeks have really took me down from where I felt 3 weeks ago. And I don't like coming across as negative and stuff, but it at this point, like episode 7's out on Wednesday, I could not care less anymore about watching episode 7 because I'd much rather watch Star Wars 9, which I'll be doing. I don't know if I'm going to take my laptop to London to find a way to stream it because it's a running gag that, I'm sure Gus from Breaking Bad will pop up next week.
Yeah.
Here we are, sort of saying that 4 weeks in a row, and he's still not here. And now I'm thinking he's just going to be in episode 8, and he's going to set up series 2, isn't he? I really hope it isn't. And I know I'm being negative, but I've only seen this the once. I do need to rewatch it because I was watching with my dad. We haven't seen it yet together for viewing tea, but I'm considering I'm 5 out of 8 films for a rewatch of the main episode now. I couldn't care less about The Mandalorian at this moment in time. That's how the last 2 episodes have felt for me. That I'm not going to go on my little mini rant I had last night on Facebook to YouTube about the spin-off films as much as I love them. But I'm going to leave a few to carry on for the minute because I feel like I'm going to say something I want to say.
I get why the story side of it, and that we haven't really moved an inch from episode 3. We haven't gone anywhere of great significance. We've not found out more backstory that's been hinted at. We've not gone to our final destination of where he wants to take the child. So we've not kind of found out any more of that information. But as far as this series has gone, it's hit more of sort of like a procedural on the episodes. So like like a Law and Order sort of thing, like a CSI, where you're getting your story of the week. And to be honest, although yes, I get it that we're 2 episodes from finishing the season, it would be lovely to know where we're going. And I think George, to be honest, I think he's spot on. I think that he's going to turn up in the last episode and be either 1 episode and done, big bad, or he will lead into series 2 as the main protagonist of that. But the element of this and the procedural side of it, this episode, honestly, I really, really got everything I wanted out this episode. It was nice to get him teamed up, get some hint at his backstory, his past, and then to get this second half of the episode, which turned from, we're just getting out of the ship, to almost like a Kubrickian horror thing with all the red and the traps he was setting and the way he was sneaking around. Loved that part. Absolutely adore.
So yeah, again, it is an episode 2 halves, and we'll definitely talk about that. So my point of view, especially on the episode, is if this was a 22 episode season, like Dave and I review Resistance, we expect filler. We expect quite a few filler episodes at that as well. Even again, this was only got 2 seasons, especially with one story. We expect there to be a chunk of filler. Clone Wars, Rebels, whatever TV show it is, if it's 22 episodes, you expect there to be a few episodes where you're just not getting any story. Where you've got 8 episodes and there really isn't a strong protagonist, it needs some sort of plot line to drive it forward. And at this point, it's what's irritating more than anything. There's no full-time protagonist. There's no plot line move since episode 3. That being said, this being filler is probably one of the best filler episodes we've had. I mean, this is miles better than last week. I mean, last week I was sat here with a whole bunch of complaints, and I have nowhere near that amount for this week's episode. Even after watching it the first time, I still didn't have anywhere near as complaints I had as last week. There's a random Yoda moving across the screen. For those of you not watching the video,
it almost just fell off the side of the desk.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. I really want some plot line in this one. However, as for a filler episode, this has some really good moments. So we might as well talk about the episode as a whole. So the actual arc, I loved the second half of the episode where it became basically a kind of alien predator kind of a Ridley. For me, it felt more Ridley than Kubrick, but it was that element of horror, that kind of, especially he's tracking now, especially with the red with the strobe lights. He's coming up behind Bill Murray's character, was it Mayfield? Well, he's coming up behind him, and he knows he's behind him. He turns around and just screams no. I loved him tracking it down. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, that was like the Weeping Angels out of Doctor Who. Like when I saw that,
yeah.
The issue with the first half was that I really did not like the bounty hunters. I was really, really excited to see them. I don't know much about Bill Burr, so I kind of went in that, like level-headed. I'd seen obviously clips and trailers. And then it was just very stereotypical. You've got the loud incident, not white guy, but the human guy. Then you've got the weird, freaky Twi'lek, played by Tonks out of Harry Potter.
Yep.
And then you had the muscle, who looked like B-Tech Hellboy. And we all had what it was. That's all I could think. And then we had the droid. Now this is what made it. I spent 20 minutes thinking, "Oh my god, it sounds so much like Rich Iowada." Like no bloody way. Like, has anyone in America heard of him? And then like I saw, it was like it was him, and I was like,
yeah.
I was really happy and at the same time really confused because it felt so much. It didn't. Yeah. It wasn't the voice for that droid. Was that just me? Like it felt like out of place.
Well, you guys know my opinion on this. The first time I watched it, it took me out of it like no one's business. It just completely threw me because the voice didn't match the droid, and it was a case of I know the voice, and it was just they didn't do enough digitizing or warping of it at all. It just felt like him sat there reading it. That's the first time. The second time around, I was like, because I was expecting it, I was actually okay with it. That's the thing I learned from my experience. The second time around, I was okay with it because I knew it was going to be there. The first time around, it just took me out of it. It just really did.
I think. I was going to say, I think with this, you got to think, yeah, for us, absolutely. And as soon as his voice came out of his mouth, I knew who it was. Literally, the instant I was like, oh, okay. But I think you're right. For an American audience, that's just a random British voice that they don't have as much. They don't have as much awareness of. So I think that will play okay for that droid. That's just that upper class sort of voice, similar to what 3PO has, to kind of come across that way. For us, yeah, absolutely. In the UK, where we don't have this show yet, then yes, absolutely, it stuck out like a sore thumb at first. But I don't mind him very much, so I quite enjoyed having
still
him
not
in
as
that.
irritating as AP5. No one will ever be as irritating as AP5. But
Never will be.
G, so played by, I can't remember the name, who plays Tonks in Harry Potter. She really irritated me the first time around I watched the episode. Second time around, not as much, but this is the thing, the Deveronian, again, is though the characters were just irritating. The first time around I watched it, I couldn't really get past it. So the second time around, much better, but no, G, even the second time around, she just irritated me. She just got my nerves because she was...
Her name G, I thought they were calling her Twee as like a nickname for like Tweeler.
No, G. And then her brother is
harsh, oppressed. It's like
something,
no, savage, mate. Like it's like when they're trying to pronounce it not to be the obvious thing it is.
Yeah. Again, she didn't annoy me either. I really enjoyed her take on a Twi'lek that we hadn't seen before. She wasn't dancing anywhere or a Jedi. It was nice to see that sort of savage side of them, which I really actually enjoyed. And her and her brother, I love that you just didn't actually care. You're a sister, and then that was it, over with. Like, you go over there, and if you're dead, you're dead. That's fine. But yeah, I didn't mind her at all either.
And again, this is me. So I didn't like any of the 5. Clancy Brown took me out of it just because, again, it's just that kind of usual muscle. It's where's going to happen. It was so obvious they're going to betray him. And I was not. I mean, I didn't. The president need to be a big name. The president needs to be anything. I was fine with it being another Twi'lek related to her that he snapped his back on.
Yeah.
I was kind of just hoping, again, I don't want to sound like one of them people, but this could have so easily been a key story episode. These could have been bounty hunters hired by the Empire to get him, or anything to double bluff him. But it was the moment in which they saw Baby Yoda. I was like, right, they're going to betray him, take Yoda, go off to the Empire. But they didn't even think to do that, and we had a bit of tension with the droid at the end, playing hide and seek with Baby Yoda, which I did very much enjoy. Just this little head popping around the corner like Baby Yoda. I don't know. I don't know why it didn't. I don't know why this episode didn't land. But I think it's because I don't care about the bounty hunters. I think not to talk about Clone Wars, but when we've had bounty hunters in Clone Wars, that I've felt they've always been more interesting and they've had a better dynamic.
Yeah, I would like to if they brought in someone like Sugi or Embo. That would have been cool to see, or Cad Bane especially. I mean, we talked about last episode of who it could be at the end of it. I was expecting something more than we got, so I do agree with you there. Okay, so just going to come out here from Jim Mando saying, it's okay, hot take, it's TV, expensive TV, so they need to test the waters and not dive into story. If they had to cancel it, people are proving the point by complaining.
I because I would disagree. I mean, Netflix didn't spend $200 million on The Crown to think, oh, well, if Series 1 doesn't work, we're just going to tell 5 years out of the Queen's 60-year story. I can see what he means. I don't think. I mean, the complaints. Like I said, I sound like one of them. I know I've been one of them. I think it's because of how great the first 3 episodes were and how much story was in the first 3 that it's the come down from those. And it's, as you guys said earlier, it's the filler. We're at a point where we need the story to get up to grips, but here we are again with another. Mandalorians hiding with the baby. People come to take baby. They don't get baby. Mandalorian escapes. It finishes how it began 3 episodes in a row.
You do feel that they've got to go big in the last 2 episodes to then give a big story out. Like, you're looking at sort of a double-ended season finale, really, is what I'm thinking. You've got to do that now. You can't afford just to have one finale episode.
I get where they've been going with. They want him to be very nomadic. He's left the guild. He's left his people. He's being very nomadic. He's going from place to place to place. He knows he can't stay in one place too long. So I get that side of the story. I know why they are doing these filler episodes that serve a purpose in the story. The problem is the purpose hasn't been big enough. That's our issue with it. And again, it's just to go back to the comment saying, it's people complaining again. It's purely because, as George said, and I completely agree with you on this one. The quality of the first 3 episodes was so good that it almost feels like a letdown when it's not. The quality is still there. The actual show itself, we are sitting here 6 episodes in. We haven't complained about how it's been shot once or how it looks, because it looks fantastic, especially in this episode. The actual station the bounty hunters are based on is a model. You can tell, but my God, does it look stunning. To just talk about the visuals of this episode for a moment, the actual New Republic ship, I thought looked fantastic, very in keeping with the style, but again, they set it, you could tell as soon as you're on board that prison ship, this is what it's for. You can tell who runs it and how it's run. Everything's been broken down when it comes to the bounty hunters. Again, the visual impact is incredible. So it's not the production value. The problem is the story itself. Now, this episode also wasn't written by Jon Favreau, and I think that's a shame.
Who did write this story?
So this was the director. So it's David Fukuyama and someone else.
Okay. Now, I did like the fact that they had I know I'm jumping in. They did have the director's all cameo. It made me very excited because Deborah Chow is doing episode 7, and we know Taika's doing episode 8.
Yeah.
So we have the two obviously, one of them a very much more established director. The other one, the future of Obi-Wan, who did the best episode of the Mando so far. So there's a lot to be excited about. And like I said, the direction's fine. The production of it's fine. You know, for TV, it looked great. The makeup was what it is. It's weird going from seeing that kind of, not species in film and TV animated, but seeing on a TV budget. It was fine. I liked the droids. I liked seeing the new Resistance stuff. I think that's a part of the canon which hasn't been explored much.
Yeah, no, it really hasn't. So for me, that was, again, fantastic. I've seen part of it in the Poe comic and in some of the latter AIM stuff, like Star Wars Allegiance, which I've just read as well. There's other bits and pieces where you see the New Republic, but the New Republic, by the time it's Allegiance, is gone anyway. The New Republic I've read about, but to see it now being played out, again, is really cool. Especially in the Mando, he calls it a joke in the last episode, saying, you know, if you're worried about them, no, it was episode 2, because if you're worried about it, go report them to the Republic. So he says, well, it's a joke. The fact he goes, this isn't a rival syndicate, this is the New Republic. Those droids were fantastic. They were a very cool part of the episode.
I mean,
yeah, they were
quite fascist of the New Republic to openly destroy an entire ship of prisoners if one beacon set off.
Yeah, it was.
It was like, the beacon's been set 20 minutes. Wherever it is, you will all die. That was very savage, and that is just going to encourage people to go to the First Order. So I respect that too.
Yeah,
I did love the ship and everything. I loved the right through the prisoner ship, and the droids you were talking about. They were like the next level of K2SO, but sort of a Republic version. The body, like the arms, the legs, were very much K2SO's build. And then that, obviously, the unit on top of the head and the main bust of the body was changed. But I really loved that as well. I loved seeing those droids. I love how it was run. There were a lot of cameos in this episode. I mean, a lot of cameos. George mentioned probably the best one. I loved the 3 directors at the end. Flying the X-Wings in was lovely.
Well, you say we love the 3. There's one we all love.
I love the whole thing. I love that whole scene.
And the other's Rick. Forgot this. I can't pronounce the surname.
That's in. Yep. So it is because I got it right in front of me. So yeah, it's Rick Famuyiwa, because it is a very complex surname, of course. Deborah Chow, and of course we have Dave Filoni. So Rick Famuyiwa's character is called Jib Dodger. You then have Deborah Chow's is Stash Ketter, and of course Dave Filoni's is Trapper Wolf. I mean, Wolf Trapper as I mean, it's so Filoni. It's not even fun. Actually, no, it's very funny. It's so Filoni. It's ridiculous. The other cameo I really want to talk about is Matt Lanter. We find out Matt Lanter being in a live-action Star Wars is just fantastic. Yes, he played a New Republic officer who didn't survive. I don't care. We still have Matt Lanter. It was awesome.
It's nice they've got this big family. Sorry,
I didn't know.
George.
I didn't know it's him until someone told me.
Oh, right. Cool. So you don't need cool. That's quite nice, because that was a character that as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, it's Matt Lanter. That's
I didn't pick up until, again, you saw it in the comments in our chat, and I went back and watched it, like, oh, it is. Oh, that is Matt Lanter. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's really nice to have this Star Wars family, and they're bringing in people who have played big roles in other parts of the franchise. It's really nice for them to come in and do this. And I loved seeing Matt Lanter. I loved seeing Filoni. I loved that he was in an X-Wing. I loved I loved that final scene that the Mando just took off. Was like, just like old times, and left. You knew something was coming, and the fact he left the transmitter with them was just that's such a nice touch as he drifted past the X-Wings.
Oh yeah, it was a brilliant middle finger. It's like, I knew exactly what you're gonna do. So there you go. Have fun with that. I don't know if he expected them to be destroyed, but at the same time, it was just brilliant.
I loved at the end of it how he just turned to the child and was like, "I told you that was a bad idea." I loved that. I think the interaction of the child in this one as well. We've had a couple of comments on it as well. Is that he was really good in this episode. I loved him and hiding from Zero. I loved all of that throughout it. So we've got a comment from Carl Roberts. Do you feel Baby Yoda's acting like a baby and can actually do a lot more than we think? A bit like Yoda in Empire Strikes Back when we first meet him.
That's an interesting one.
I don't think this is much to Yoda. I thought it was very funny that he's gone from baby to openly hiding around a ship. I liked it though, and I didn't get worried he was going to die this time because they wouldn't let another random robot kill him. I did love the little moment with the Force when it was the Mando behind him. For a split second, I did think it was Baby Yoda that had somehow done it.
Yeah, again, so the comment right here saying, the lighter note, Baby Yoda look at his hand, wondering how he blew up the droid was golden. Yeah, completely agree. That's my favourite moment of the episode.
I think it was just a nice touch that, he tried. I think he tried to use the Force again. I think the first time he used it was when the Mandalorian was in trouble, and I don't think he was quite ready that he'd use the Force. I don't know if it was maybe the first time he'd done something like that. And then I think that's what he's trying to do again, but couldn't summon that up. And I don't know if it's because someone wasn't in danger, and it was himself. And he didn't just have that immediate Force power to him. So I like that he wasn't just this all-powerful Force user. Immediately, it came out of a moment last time, and he wasn't quite there yet with this one. So I really liked that touch, but it was an excellent moment.
For
all
me,
of that with Zero and the child was awesome.
For me personally, the way I look at it is, although we call him Baby Yoda, I look at him more as a toddler. So though someone who, yes, okay, they are extremely young, but they are more able than you think. And of course, toddlers wander off when you're not looking, or rest of you turn around, they're off doing something crazy. That's the way I look at it.
It's just toddler Yoda. Sounds silly to say.
Of course, but so that's why for me. So let's go back to the comment there saying how you do more than you realize. I think that's the way I look at it, just personally, anyway. The other thing I want to talk about with Zero is I love the costume design. I mean, I love murder robots anyway. I grew up on Star Wars and Robot Wars. How was I not going to love murderous robots? The actual costume design of Zero is fantastic. I love the actual face as well. It's something completely you haven't seen before. The torso is very similar to 3PO, any protocol droid you've seen in the Star Wars universe, but the head was completely different. Again, absolutely love that. So the actual production design in this episode was fantastic. I want to go back to a few other things that I liked about this episode. So there's a few things to complain about, but I think we've got the complaints out of the way, really. I really want to talk about some things I like. So the actual, as I said, the set design I thought was fantastic. Production design, I love the interaction with Zero and the ship and the Razor Crest.
Who's Zero?
The droid.
The droid.
Oh, Rich Lowada.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I love his interaction with the ship and how he lands the Razor Crest onto the Republic cruiser. But he's going to go, we have to go from this point to this point to this point. We have to land in this sequence. You're good, but I got this. And my reactions and the fact he has the extender as well, I thought it was fantastic. So little pieces like that, I thought, as I said, for me, although this was filler, if this had been set, if this was the first filler episode we had, if this was 3 episodes ago, we would have had 4 great episodes in a row. That's my issue with this one, is if it had been placed earlier, I thought this would have been fantastic. The fact it is where it is what we are suffering for, because we all want plot by this point. But again, there's so many cool little pieces. Also, another little cool thing was one of the prisoners was the same species as Rio from Solo. I can't remember.
That was an Easter egg. I love that. When the hands came up, you knew what was going with it.
Yeah. For a second, I was like, "Is that?" And I thought, "No, we're past that in the timeline. He's very dead."
We are,
but it was really
well
nice
past that. Yeah.
But it's just one of those immediate things. As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, he's dead." But no, it was lovely to see him, and I really like that little nod to Jon Favreau for that.
Yeah, it's also the fact that one of the prisoners, again, is in completely an Imperial uniform as well. So they're still capturing these rogues, these renegades who are still claiming, to belong to the Empire, and this false idea that's already, by this point, well and truly gone. Although that's what we're supposed to think. Anyway, of course, we've got these warlords, and we know that I can't remember the actor, Gus from Breaking Bad. We know he's coming back. We know that he's bringing the Empire with him. We know he's a warlord. We don't know what's going to happen there. So it's interesting to see how they get that. And Death Troopers as well, which we're looking forward to seeing. As long as we don't understand them, that's absolutely fine with us.
I thought the prisoner was going to be the scientist from the first 2 episodes.
That would have been awesome.
I just
stop thinking about better television than we've seen. Come on.
I thought it was going to be someone that we would have been in, because it was the title of the episodes.
Yeah.
the prisoner. I was expecting it didn't have to be a big reveal, but I thought Gina Carano said there was a bounty on her. It could have been a scientist. It could have been Gus from Breaking Bad. I didn't mind it being who it was, because it worked for that overall story. But because the titles are always singular to an individual, or you know what I mean, I thought the prisoner might have had a bit more of an important role. But I did love, the obvious betrayal twist and just everything that happened after.
Well, I like the obvious point because you didn't know how he was going to go about getting out of that.
What my other issue was, I just wanted to know how on earth. I've literally forgotten. Oh no, I've forgotten. Yeah, sorry. When he chops the bloke's head in half twice, how does he survive?
I think the first time he catches that on his shoulders, the door that comes down.
Yeah, and then when
he gets that, and then he closes the blast door on him, and that I have no idea how he was.
Hear like a thump of the head on the floor or something. But, he was fine. Like, that was the one thing that confused me. But I really like the fact he did not kill them. That was character development. Episode 1.
I thought they were going to, but I like that development of the character, that he's not just going and annihilating them. He has gone, no. It's also the fact that I'm in a prison ship. I don't need to kill them. I should imprison the New Republic will take care of this. It's fine. It's done.
Because it was mentioned earlier in the episode by the Twi'lek. I'm just going to call it Tonks for now because that's obviously who it is in my head. That she mentioned as if his code was still causing him issues, and I'm guessing that is his lack of killing people. He's only killed people who've really been at a risk to him at the minute. He's not want to go out like the Matt Lanter. He did not want to hit that guy to get shot. I love the Reservoir Dogs style of pointing guns at everybody in a big triangle, which was lovely. But it was just, it's this code that he obviously has that he's moved on from what they knew when he was in the gang with them, and that he's now a very different Mandalorian than maybe we even thought when we got into the story.
I also couldn't get over the guy from Batman Begins. The guy, the shaggy hair one.
Mark Boone's character.
Yeah, I know he's in loads of stuff, like Sons of Anarchy, everything, but he'll always be the corrupt cop from. It was nice to see him just randomly crop up in Star Wars. Like, oh, hello. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's cool. I think is though I wanted to see more of. The problem is with this syndicate. Again, you don't know who it is. I wanted them to have more of this. Again, this background. You didn't. As you were saying earlier, you didn't care for them because again, there wasn't much background. Again, though, this episode for me is full of great moments. Now I've rewatched it, especially and now I've given it a second chance, fresh eyes, and so the second time around, I absolutely loved it. And there are some great moments, especially when I can't remember the Deveronian's name, but when Mando has him by the neck from the
roof, he's in the ceiling,
from the ceiling where he's got the grapple around him. Again, fantastic bit. I thought he was going to kill them all, but I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad they left it for that. But it was just the way he was going about systematically taking them out one by one. Again, absolutely fantastic.
I love how the prisons were magnetically sealed as well. So when the droids are firing a shot in there, you didn't have much chance because it literally just bounced around that room. If you were in there, you're going to get shot no matter where that shot went. I loved how he got out of the prison. I loved the break of the arm off to get out of there. I thought it was just really well. Aesthetically, I loved this episode. I really enjoyed the story we got, and I liked the characters we got. I liked a bit of his backstory that we were hinted at. This episode left me fully satisfied. Yeah, and I get we need to move on, but for what it was, loved it.
Yeah, it was. That's the thing that we take away from this episode. For what it was, we like it, but the plot is what we need.
Yeah.
And going forward for the next two, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a double header for the end of the season, and Gus's character will be the protagonist going forward to season 2. What happens with the child? That'll be quite interesting to see.
Gus taking the child as the big season finale cliffhanger.
And then season 2 being him hunting him down.
Lots of potential. It's a very tricky one, knowing they've always started filming the second season. It's about where's it going to... I'm really hope that we get Cara Dune back as well.
Well, we've seen the shot in the trailer of her with a massive gun, with the minigun. So we're going to get her at some point. I think that'll probably be the finale. I guess she's going to come back in. But I really, like Phil just said, I really do hope we're going to get now sort of a two-parter, back-to-back story all the way through to the finale over these last 2 episodes. I really do hope we get that.
And I also hope the finale is a lot longer because we did get a bit of length back this week, which was nice.
Yeah, this one was 41 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was a bit longer. I think the finale will be over an hour. It might be an hour, but
yeah, an hour for the last 2 episodes would be good. Like an hour each would be a nice bit of time to give it. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to what's coming on Wednesday, and also looking forward to seeing the Mandalorian. see what I did there. See what I did there.
We saw. We gave you some humor there. We like to humor Dave on this channel. It's all about that. It's not about Star Wars. It's just about humoring Dave, really.
Very much.
So episode 8, episode 7 does come out Wednesday.
Episode 7, wow.
Well,
oh yes, I was thinking about the movie there. I'd completely got out Mandalorian for a second. Sorry, episode 7. I mean, we'll watch it, but
we're watching episode 7 and watching episode 8. As well as episode 9. That's not the point. Yes. So episode 7 will be out on Wednesday. We haven't really decided when we're going to be breaking down. I think we're going to do it on the Saturday, the 21st, if I'm correct.
At some point after it comes out.
Yeah.
It's the problem with The Rise of Skywalker and us wanting a Christmas break, because Lord knows we do actually have lives we'd like to get to, but don't get us wrong, we love doing the show, but yeah, we will find time to break down the episode, but we have The Rise of Skywalker to see many times. We have a breakdown video to do for that. We have a Christmas break coming up, so we will find time. We will be back probably Saturday, but we'll let you know either by Facebook or by Twitter what's going on, what's going to happen, and we will be back for episode 7. We have high hopes for it. Yeah, really looking forward to it. Guys, any closing thoughts before we close down this episode?
No.
Just that I'm really looking forward to episode 7, seeing what it's going to bring, and hopefully we start the journey towards the end of the season with a nice full story, a nice move on in the plot. But yeah, amazing. I can't wait. Let's bring it on.
Indeed. So all left to me to say is thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Once the Force of Star Wars Podcast, at the Force Podcast. You can find the video for this later on our YouTube and Facebook pages. You can also find the audio later on our Podbean, Stitcher, iTunes, and Spotify. The merchandise is down below for the link for our Public store. We've been Once the Force. When the Force will be with you. Good night.